Okay, we are back from doTERRA's annual convention, and I decided to do this episode to try my best anyway to do a recap of what we experienced last week. So you're going to learn in this episode about the ethos of doTERRA and how they're having such a global impact through this health movement. Thank you for sharing it out with those that you think need this information. And if you haven't joined us yet, I'd love to invite you to head over to wholefit.com/EO start. And I'd love to welcome you to this beautiful supernatural lifestyle. Hey, it's Ange Peters, and welcome to WholeFit Talks, a weekly broadcast streaming live on the WholeFit Facebook page. So excited to have you join us as we jam on living, loving, and leading a supernatural life. Welcome. How are you guys? You guys remember this moment? Right here. Do you remember this moment? The whole arena is black, pitch black. Okay, so welcome you guys. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, today's show is dedicated to the experience of last week. Want to bring you guys on a journey of what a lot of us experienced last week. I know a lot of you attending live right now were there in person. I will never forget that moment. We were in the arena with like 20,000 plus people. doTERRA had a whole other venue waiting that was going to get this show 2 hours later. And we're all there together and the lights go out and they put up a quote by Bartum and we all knew what was going to happen. And this song starts and Hugh Jackman, none other, starts making his way to center stage. It's pitch black. He's like just looking as beautiful as ever. He goes middle of the stage and the lights come on and he starts to sing and my goodness, it was so good. Dreaming big, people. It was really funny actually. We got home and we had a whole bunch of stuff for the girls, right? And then we tell them that the greatest showman came to doTERRA to do the keynote and to perform, and that he uses doTERRA because of his wife. His wife loves doTERRA. He goes to bed every night with a doTERRA diffuser. He called it a vaporizer, really cute. And I told the girls this, and so Emmy says, "Mommy, can I have a private talk with you?" Which we have those every day. "Mommy, can I have a private?" And we go behind the wall in the hallway, and she says, "Mommy, so seeing as the greatest showman came to doTERRA, do you think he'd say yes if I invited him to my birthday party in 2 weeks?" It was such a cute moment. Dreaming big, people. Okay, welcome. I have so much to dig into with you guys that I'm going to kind of dive right in. This is probably going to be an episode you'll want to, come back to and listen to maybe once or twice more. I do want to start off by saying, welcome if you're brand new. This show has been shared out, letting people know that it was going to be broadcasting at 2 o'clock today. We already have over 200 people over on Facebook watching live at 2 Eastern. We have over 100 on Instagram. Yes, Robin, right? No harm in asking Hugh Jackman to come to your birthday. So I just want to backtrack for 1 second and thank you guys. If you caught the broadcast, the last episode 36, it's called We All Have to Start Somewhere. And I felt like it was time for me to do an episode where I take you back years and years and years into my journey to share that we all have to start somewhere, that we all, you know, have to begin when we have really no clear idea of where it's all going. And that actually became one of the most shared episodes I've done to date. Thank you for sharing it out with your teams. I just so appreciated hearing from so many of you about following your own heart and not quitting, and how so many of you are in that stage of life right now where you're just not sure it's worth it. And I want to assure you that if you're following your heart, if you're following your excitement, if you're following your curiosity with what you think you might be here to do, you are doing the right work. Okay, so thank you guys for, you know, just sharing your stories with me. And this week, as I mentioned at the beginning, I want to take you guys on a quick recap journey of what happened last week at doTERRA's annual convention, okay? It was so great to meet many of you there. Now, this is an event, it's the largest of its kind. I have talked about it a little bit here and there throughout the last year or two, but this event draws about 40,000 people. Now, not everybody that even comes is using doTERRA. A lot of people come to this convention because this is the only place they're going to learn the latest research and science on essential oils. Now, we all know that essential oils have exploded in the last 2 years, and I'm going to do my best to pay tribute to what was the experience that we all had last week. And I'm kind of nervous, to be honest. Like, you know, I've actually been preparing for this show for the last 2 days. I've been sitting with all of my notes and my journal and just really like tapping in, tuning into my heart and thinking about, you know, what do I need to share with you today as we take this hour together? So I'm going to do my best. This might be the show that many of you actually utilize as a starting point for your team. Because if I do my job today, you're going to understand the ethos of doTERRA. And when somebody joins with you, whether they're a customer or they want to do this business with you, this ideally is going to be an episode that you could say, hey, welcome, go have a listen to this, and then let's get started, okay? So, are you guys ready to dive in? I have my assistant, Jill. She's over on Facebook on the brand page, posting links today. The show notes for this episode today are going to be packed with links. Everything I'm talking about today, whether it's research or product info pages or whatever, we are going to have it linked all for you in the show notes. So what you can do is after the show ends, I usually get this uploaded to iTunes and to my website, usually the evening after we record or the next day. So it'll be there either tonight or tomorrow. You'll find every link that I'm talking about, especially for those of you over on Instagram. Hi. But if you're on Facebook, you guys you'll see the links being popped up by my assistant, Jill, as we get going. Okay. Let's do this. First of all, hold on. Hydrate. Okay. So this year was doTERRA's 10-year anniversary. Some of you may think that doTERRA has been around a lot longer because of how massive they are today, but it has been 10 years, and the theme was dreaming big. And I mean, they pulled out all the stops for us this week. So everything I share today, I want to emphasize the power of dreaming big, just like doTERRA has done. And I want you to think about your own life, because this last week has had me just checking in. Hold on, sorry, microphone. There we go. Wrong hair. There we go. This last week has had me checking in personally on my own dreams and just asking myself, where might I be playing smaller than I should be? Where might I be limiting myself? Because doTERRA inspires me in so many ways to go after that and to rise up as a woman. I'm going to share a lot of that as we go today, but that really was the theme of what we all took last week. There was something in it for all of us to be inspired and to feel the power of community and being surrounded by dreamers, right? Being surrounded by people who have had a vision at one point and brought it into reality. And doTERRA has done that, you guys. I mean, there are many times over the last couple years, especially, you may know of some of these situations, right? I'm not going to get into it, but there's been times where doTERRA really should have quit. On paper, it was a big mountain they had to climb to be where they are today. And so it was really magical. I don't even use that word lightly, to just be together and experience the heart of doTERRA. And the growth and impact that doTERRA is having around the globe is unusual. And many people you know, when they come into doTERRA, they don't even realize how much their life is going to change. Whether you're one of the, you know, 6 million customers, I mean, 90% of doTERRA is customers, not people doing the business, right? So it's changing lives all over the world, not to mention the lives of those involved in the sourcing of the oils. And I'm gonna talk about that today. But doTERRA is strong because they don't make decisions, you guys. As one of the most powerful health companies in the world, they do not make decisions to satisfy lobbyists or Wall Street. They are not bought. And with that, they're able to make decisions that are good for all. Hugh Jackman, you might remember one of the quotes he said, that is that a company is only good if it's good for everybody involved. And then he said, and I believe here at doTERRA, you have a very good company. And, you know, if you think about that, when you look at every single facet of the work doTERRA is doing, it's all connected in freedom, in abundance, in elevating the economies around the world. It's all connected. And that's when you know you have a really tight, solid brand and movement, okay? So, okay, got my notes up here. I want to stay on track, all right? doTERRA is very attractive, you guys, to people that have a feeling that there is a higher way to live and love. And that's you. If you're here right now joining me, there's a good chance that you have a feeling you are here to live in a higher state of life, higher state of love, and you have a commitment to taking personal ownership and responsibility of your health, of your impact, and of your success. Those are the people that find their way in doTERRA, okay? Now, I constantly hear from people who experience doTERRA for the first time that they feel like they've come home. How many of you, comment if you attended convention this year for the very first time and that feeling of just being home hit you, where you realize, wow, this is the work. This is what I want to commit my life to being a part of. And it's not just sharing essential oils, right? It is the global impact that that's having and what that truly represents. It's you stepping out of the cage and saying, I choose a higher state for myself. I choose to step into my power. I choose to not listen to all of the people living in a box right now. Sometimes those people are like right tight in your circle, right? You find your people. That's right. You find your people when you get out to these events, and the ripple effect is massive. So the convention kicked off with a quick peek at the last 10 years and all that's been accomplished, okay? So 10 years ago, if you reel it back and you think about when doTERRA started, natural health products at that time had been largely abandoned. And these are some notes I took while David Sterling, the CEO, was talking. He opened up the day on day one. Natural products and essential oils had been abandoned at that time for the perceived benefit of synthetic drugs, okay? So, what you know today of essential oils was definitely not a thing 10 years ago. But doTERRA dreamed of empowering people with natural gifts so they can take control of their health and wellness. So 10 years ago, the essential oil world, he shared, was corrupt, rife with corruption. The supply chain, the brokers, the middlemen, everything involved. It was a dark world, you guys. You had no idea it was in those bottles. You still don't with the hundreds of other companies. And this is one of the key points that sets doTERRA apart, is complete transparency from the ground up, excuse me. So they wanted to disrupt the entire industry as it was 10 years ago, okay? Harvesters lived in poverty around the world. They were getting ripped off. They still are, by companies who do not care about this. And this is largely happening in the essential oil industry. It's just that doTERRA protects the millions of people in doTERRA don't realize how much is going on, how shady that industry can be. So doTERRA dreamed to work directly with harvesters in a way that would create mutual abundance, so that as we use the oils here, we are blessing economies around the world. And often these are some of the poorest places in the world that create the best plants, and they don't even know what they're sitting on sometimes, right? Sometimes, in the example of pink pepper, which I'll talk about today, it's this beautiful, healing, superhero oil that place in the world does not even realize is such a powerhouse. And then when doTERRA comes in and creates this co-impact sourcing relationship with them, all of a sudden the economy changes there, and they've been sitting on this plant for, the whole time, right? So also back 10 years ago, some of you question sometimes, well, why did doTERRA have to be in the network marketing model? And the interesting thing for you to understand is at that time, the MLM industry had a lot of shadiness going on. How many of you can remember somebody, a family member who was, in network marketing, and you like dreaded their phone call, or every time you went to this family member's house, you were getting just forced products and parties and all this stuff, right? At that time, and there's still that stigma. A lot of you if you're building a business with doTERRA, you'll come up against this from time to time where people don't understand, why it had to be in this model. But here's the thing to understand: the owners of doTERRA, they knew this as well. That was kind of a wall for them, because they knew that they could actually just go straight to retail shelves and kill it. However, they knew that this was going to be the greatest way to create a personal essential oil experience. They knew it had to be person to person, okay? So they worked hard to reestablish and to write a new story in this industry. And doTERRA is the company, as the largest network marketing company now in the US and soon to be Canada. They are the company that every other network marketing company is looking at right now under a magnifying glass. They're trying to figure out, how has doTERRA done it? How have they grown this massive, massive company with only 10% of the millions that are actually doing the business? Every other network marketing company is the reverse of that. Did you guys know that? Most of their companies are heavy in recruitment. It gets a little slimy sometimes, right? Where they're forcing you into something and you're losing money, and it's not a sustainable business model. But in doTERRA, that's completely reversed. It's heavily a customer-based culture. Heavily, like 90%, right? So doTERRA really, you're going to learn today that in every single area that you look at, they have written a new story, and they have disrupted broken systems and perceptions and everything to dream bigger. And they wanted to build a unique company that we could all be proud to be a part of, and a strong culture, not a cultish behavior. We see this in a lot of other industries. It's cult-like. And they wanted to lead with product and strong product education. And believe me, if you're here today, you're going to get that. I am going deep, and you're going to need to probably watch this a couple times, okay? You're getting schooled today on deep product education. So let me keep going. Over the last 10 years, he also gave us some numbers. doTERRA has sold over 200 million bottles of essential oil. Jennifer said she just pulled over to listen. Right on. Going deep. Get your notebooks. So 200 million bottles have gone out the door from doTERRA since they started 10 years ago. This year alone, they're going to sell over 70 million bottles just this year. This is how big this has become. The distribution center ships about 600,000 products every single day. Okay, so doTERRA is a global company, you guys. So next time your cousin Randy says to you, oh, those oils, they're just pretty smells, you might want to, hop on over here. Tag Randy. Okay, they have 18 offices around the world. So overall, doTERRA employs globally over 3,200 people. So some of you were confused when I announced this broadcast on Instagram earlier this week. I said that I was going to talk about the difference between sugar and fat. How many of you know what I'm actually talking about now? I'm not actually talking about that today. So as I'm going, I want you to consider, a lot of things in our world today are like sugar, okay? A lot of companies today are like sugar. They look at their customers like the low-hanging fruit. They think, you know what? We're going to release this. It's going to get a lot of buzz and attention, and then it's going to crash. And that's what's happening in our world today. And one of the reasons that doTERRA is basically, the most sustainable health movement in the world today is because they bring the fat. Everything they presented at this convention, I kept marinating on it, right? It was just so rich. And I can see how, yes, the last 10 years have been awesome. And I only joined a little over 4 years ago, but the next 10 years, it is going to just explode in a whole new way, because it's now moving in to the early majority. Many of you using doTERRA, you'll be considered the early adopters, right? But now it's moving into the early majority. That's right, Isabella. Bring the fat, right? doTERRA is the fat. It's the lifer, okay? It's the lifer company, and it's changing our world in a lasting way. So, a few quick things before I go in. And what I'm going to do is just share some of the key things that are setting doTERRA apart, and then I want to spend 30 minutes doing a deep dive on the products, you guys. So we might go over an hour today. I'm going to try to move through here pretty fast. For those of you that weren't there, if I'm going to do my best today, but it's not going to be enough. There was so much covered. It's impossible. And even if you get out to the post-convention tours happening, you're still not going to get enough. There was so much presented. So what I recommend is, in a simple way, if you want to hop over to Instagram, if you go to my profile, just click the icon that takes you to the profile, you'll actually see a round convention button. And I did a lot of Insta stories throughout the week. I did probably about 20 or 30 a day as different sessions were being presented. And I kind of shared, my narrative on what I was taking in at the time. So if you want to go there and click through the button, it'll take you through kind of a play-by-play of every session at convention. So that'd be like a Cole's Notes version. If you want to purchase the live stream, Jill's going to pop the link up over on Facebook here. You have until October 6th to watch the full playback, everything except for Hugh Jackman. It was under contract that could not be recorded. So we'll put up the live stream link there, and again, it'll be in the show notes. You'll have until October 6th if you want to put that in your calendar to watch that, to just have it maybe playing while you're folding the laundry and just really get that drip of everything they shared. The last few things I want to mention is doTERRA is doing, I think, over 100 of these post-convention tours all across North America. So those are starting October, I believe, the 2nd. So next week, right? Already October. So we're going to put up the link where you can find a tour stop happening in your area. Again, they're happening all over the US and Canada. I personally am flying out to Edmonton. So let me know if you're from Edmonton, comment. Let me know if you're listening and you're not using doTERRA yet. I'd love for you to come and join. This is open to everybody. They're free events, and you're going to get I believe it's 2 hours of a doTERRA drip that whole night. You'll actually learn about convention, all the new products, and we'll raffle off a convention kit, which I'm going through today. So it's worth it to go out. And then, of course, we have the one here in my hometown, London. I'm not hosting that one, but I will certainly be there. So hope to see you guys out at one of these events. If you're in doTERRA and you have friends in different places, have a look at the convention link for all of the tour stops that Jill put up there, and you'll find one in probably most major cities. So cool. We got some Edmonton people over on Instagram. Fun. Okay, so let's first talk about the core message, and then I'm going to get into how I personally am integrating each product and some good deep education on each one. So first I want to lead with a quote by Joe Dispenza. And he says, "In an age of this much access to information, ignorance is a choice." If you want to learn, you guys, today you're going to learn, okay? I'm going to take you on a deep dive. This is the kind of class that normally I would have done in a private Zoom setting a couple years ago, but I like to use this platform to spread the good and just to the whole of doTERRA. Enough of the team talk, right? Like, it's one giant family community, and let's just all do our best to share the love. So that's what this show is for. Okay, so this year, what I really felt was happening was doTERRA was kind of putting the gauntlet down. There's no question, absolutely no question, that all eyes are on doTERRA now. doTERRA, for having the highest quality essential oils in the world, for the way they're sourcing, and for their vision for the next 10 years of how they're going to be a big part of the solution to the broken healthcare system. No question. So how many of you, and I don't want you to list a company name, but how many of you can think of a company that launched essential oils this year? If we were in the same room, we'd all be kind of like, yep, this company did, and that company did, and the drugstore did, and the gas station did, and Michael's and Best Buy and Walmart, and da-da-da, it goes on and on, right? Because they're all looking at doTERRA like, well, and they see it as an easy integration to increase their profits. That's what's happening. And so, earlier I was sharing that the essential oil industry is quite shady. There's a lot of bad stuff going on there, you guys, ripping people off, and no commitment to quality or testing, but just releasing essential oil bottles. So you have to question, what is happening? Why would a company that does this as their core product all of a sudden go into essential oils? It comes back to money, right? They're looking at their customer base and thinking, well, doTERRA's done this incredible stuff with essential oils. We can too. And they're not releasing any information to you. So that really the gauntlet came down. And doTERRA is doing much more than just oils. I mean, they're changing healthcare, right? They're changing the world through what we're doing. And only they can when it comes to essential oils, because of what I'm going to talk about right now. So there's no other company doing what doTERRA is doing when it comes to co-impact sourcing. If you look at that, for example, they pay higher wages to the farmers. There's like no other company does this, you guys. In fact, if you were to ever fly out to Brazil and ask, what was his name, Enzo, who grows our new green Mandarin, he's never had another essential oil company visit him, right? Like, there is no connection there. doTERRA is changing lives in these places. They're also investing in research. Here's the thing. I was sitting there, and I was thinking, like, there's so much that they shared around the sourcing and all the work they're doing around the world, and you just wouldn't even know about it if you didn't go to this event, because they don't brag, they don't like, call the media to say, hey, look at us, look at what we're doing. They just get on a plane and go to Rwanda. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just so much happening that you wouldn't know if you weren't there. And I think a lot of you, like me, are thinking, like, I don't even know how to wrap my head around what just happened last week, right? Around what I just learned. So unless you're looking for it, you're not going to hear these things, which is often the case with any good movement, right? It seems like only the bad things get press. So here's 3 things I want to share with you that define the doTERRA difference. I just talked about co-impact sourcing. What I want you to do is take some time, if you don't know about this, and go to a website called sourcetoyou.com. We're going to pop it up in the comments there on Facebook. doTERRA has been committed since day one to have complete transparency. This website launched 2 years ago, and you can basically go to this website, you can scan your single origin oil, and up will come the testing and the sourcing on that bottle of oil. You'll know exactly what's in it. You'll know where it comes from. They're continuing to expand that website, so the new oils will be on there very soon. The second thing would be healing hands. And Chris turned to me on day 1 or day 2, I can't remember what day it was. We had a ton of science and research in the morning. And then in the afternoon, they were going to be diving into more of the stories and sharing around the sourcing and around their key foundation called the Healing Hands Foundation. And Chris turns to me, he's like, you know what? This morning was great and all, but this is what makes this company so powerful and so unique is the partnerships that they have and the work they're doing. I mean, one of the examples of the key partnerships they have is with Operation Underground Railroad. I'm not sure if you've heard of them before. OUR, they provide rescue and aftercare for children who have been involved in sex trafficking. And just to give you one example of how doTERRA circulates this, doTERRA has a roller bottle called Hope that they created with the full intention of having 100% of the proceeds go to the work that OUR is doing. And since this started, over 190,000 bottles of Hope have been purchased, which is nearly $4 million directly to OUR. So if you want to learn more about that, for example, go to OURfilm.org, and you can learn more about that organization. The last thing that really distinguishes doTERRA from every other 100 of essential oil companies out there, companies seem to be launching left and right today. The last thing is CPTG, Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade. This is a testing stamp standard that doTERRA had to create 10 years ago to be able to communicate to you what you can come to expect when you use doTERRA oils. Now, one thing I want to speak to right now, this is a common thing your cousin Randy will say. Poor cousin Randy. I hope none of you have a cousin Randy. I'm not talking about him. He's totally fictional. Cousin Randy will come to you and say, yeah, but that CPTG was created by doTERRA, so of course they're going to say their oils were the best. When you don't have anybody saying, hey, you can't fake a scent and put it in a bottle and call it pink pepper, Nobody's governing the world of essential oils. You have no idea what you're putting on your body when you use a random bottle of oil from the health food store. doTERRA had to create a standard as a way of communicating to you, here's what you can trust when we say we are the most tested and trusted brand in the world. This standard of quality, you guys, is very important to understand. So when somebody says to you, yeah, but they created their own standard, so of course they're gonna say it's the best, you say, I'm so grateful that they did, because it's a way for me to measure what they stand for. And here's the thing, because of this standard of quality, it's allowed doTERRA to form many relationships with hospitals, with the medical community, within research. It's only because they have the CPTG standard in place that they know that they can duplicate time after time after time the same result, because you know exactly what's in that bottle. Okay, and so those things that I've just shared with you are why doTERRA has paved the way and laid the foundation for what's to come in the next 10 years, you guys. Big things are coming. So probably the one you've been hearing the most about is that doTERRA is now in this year beginning to open healthcare facilities that will have in-house physicians. Yes, these physicians will be writing prescriptions for medications, but they will also be taken through deep education on doTERRA oils to be able to offer their patients not only an alternative, but a conversation around an alternative. Because many people go to their doctor today and say, hey, I heard about Copaiba for pain. What do you know about it? Doc's like, nothing, because there's nobody educating them, right? And not every doctor is a good fit for this, right? I'll get to that in a moment. There are 4 objectives of these new clinics, and they're going to be called Prime Meridian. They will only use doTERRA oils. There will be a ton of in-house research happening. This is how doTERRA is moving a lot of the research out of the lab and to be human trials. They know on paper what the different constituents are doing from, doing a lot of trials in a lab, but this is going to basically open the gates for there to be the kind of research that every other doctor is kind of sitting back with crossed arms saying, yeah, but that's great that it worked in that Petri dish, or it's great that it worked on that, whatever. They don't test on animals, by the way. But, this is what the world is asking for in order to come on board. In order for, the people who actually have a heart and are drawn to this work, they're going to need that type of research. So that's going to be happening. Whew, I need to take a deep breath. I got to keep going though. So these clinics, they're going to have an integrative approach to healthcare. They're going to use allopathic and holistic care, and essential oils are going to be the main focus. This is going to initially begin in the US. It's going to help lower healthcare costs significantly. It's going to improve accessibility and to basically ease the burden on a lot of the system right now. It's going to be looking at treating the whole person. It's going to focus on a direct primary care model, so putting all of the focus on the patient, okay? And it's going to have a low monthly price. So this will be a way of paying a low price to have access to the types of conversation and care that so many people are desperate to. The doctors are paid by the patients, not insurance companies. I'm not sure how many of you realize that's a huge problem, okay? So a lot more time spent with the patient. They actually said the average time that a doctor will spend with a patient in these healthcare facilities will be at least 30 minutes, 30 to 60 minutes. Can you imagine that? When there's a lot of places you go in and your doctor has to actually set a timer. I think it's 7 minutes max. So 3 locations are opening up in the first quarter of next year. Arizona, Utah, Tennessee, you're getting the first ones. And again, only doTERRA oils are going to be used in these clinics. And then basically, and they're not being sold, okay? So basically a patient goes in, learns about, oil alternatives, and they come and find their nearest wellness advocate, okay? And that's how that will work. There was a ton of science presented, you guys, right around the time of talking about the healthcare facilities. There was a whole panel, PhD after PhD after PhD. And they, basically what this had me thinking is, and I want to encourage you guys to all consider the voices that you're allowing to influence your current health and your future. Let's talk about doctors for a moment. One of my favorites is on right now, Dr. Robin Fawcett. Say hi, Robin, so they can find you. I think I saw you commenting. She was just invited to be part of the medical advisory board at doTERRA. She's a practicing doctor in the UK who, got turned on to essential oils because she's a mom, right? And I think that doctors who are mothers are some of the best doctors in the world. And so congrats, Robin. If you're still on, say hello so they can find you and follow you because you do great broadcasts. But I want you guys to consider doctors for a moment. So let's say you're learning all of this today and you were at convention and you can think of a doctor or a professional in your life who's saying, no, essential oils are nothing more than pretty smells, thanks so much, but no. And this is what you're continuing to still hear about doTERRA. Now, this would be true of the hundreds of other essential oil companies in the world because you just don't even know it's in that bottle. So many times it could be made to smell like lavender and it might not be lavender at all, right? So keep in mind, doctors are overwhelmed today, okay? So don't freak out when they say things like that to you. They're too busy and they're stuck in that vortex, right? They're not getting the education to find their way out of that right now, right? But there's a second possibility, and that's that a doctor may have gone rogue, right? Their opinion may have been bought. It starts sometimes in med school where it shapes their way of looking at health and your body. And this continues on and they end up becoming a contributor to the broken system. And there are a lot of doctors. Here's the point I wanted to make. There was a heavy presence of physicians at this year's convention. There are a lot of doctors in the world today committed to being part of the solution. And I am obsessed with these doctors. I know many who aren't. I know many who aren't using their voice for good. But there are so many more that are and are very committed. And what I love about doTERRA is they want to work with the medical community. It is not us versus them. It is not doTERRA versus your doctor. It is doTERRA with the right doctors are changing this whole trajectory. Okay, quick hydration break. So, who wants to talk about products? I've got them all here. Oh, the last thing I wanted to mention, for any of you that own pets, there was also a veterinarian panel that came, which was super interesting. We're going to link up a video. If you go to YouTube and look at doTERRA, they actually have started to upload some of the videos from convention. And they uploaded, I believe, a video about just with different vets sharing how they've been using doTERRA in their practice. Super safe. Cool announcement was made that doTERRA is actually bringing on a whole veterinarian advisory board. Okay, to help, just to squash some of that fear that spreads all the time around using essential oils with your pets. So good info. I just wanted to mention if you have a pet. Okay, you guys, so we're going to dive in, get your notebooks out. If you have these products as I go, pull them out, experience them. I'm going to try to take like 2 to 3 minutes on each one. And I'm also going to share with you how I'm planning to use it. Okay, so what I want to say first, when you have the best sourcing in place, like doTERRA does, and when you have the highest quality testing in place, like doTERRA does, now you can get to work because now you can determine exactly what an oil is going to do because of the constituents in that oil. Now, this might be a little bit heavy for some of you today, so what I recommend is that you go to doTERRA.com and go through the modules. I don't have a link for you right now, but just go to doTERRA.com and search essential oil chemistry. I'm going to share an ebook that doTERRA has in just a moment with you, but you can learn about this. And this is very important to understand if you're using essential oils. Every essential oil has constituents in it that make it do the things it does in your body. And I'm going to talk a lot about that as I go through each product and why they're going to work and do what what we know they're going to do. So this predictability and consistency is why doTERRA is working so closely with the medical community. doTERRA is the only company in the world that the medical community is interested in working with because everything can be replicated when you're working with purity, right? If you have a bottle and you have no idea what that company is putting in that bottle, it might smell really good, but why in the world would the medical community have any interest in researching it? Because if you're just creating stuff in a lab, then you're not really working with essential oils, right? You want to make sure you're dealing with, nature's gifts, that you know exactly what you're working with. And some of these oils today, you guys, I'll tell you, if the pharmaceutical industry was able to patent turmeric oil, they would have by now, and it would be like the wonder product. You'd hear about it left and right, okay? But they can't because they can't patent nature, okay? So back to constituents. Every oil has them. Some oils have hundreds. This is why you might use lavender for sleep. but you'll also come to know that it's actually helping with your skin. Okay, so lavender, for example, has 2 main constituents in it. And thank you, Jill over on Facebook has just posted doTERRA's chemistry wheel. I recommend you guys print that off. It looks like this. And the wheel helps you understand, like, for example, you can see down here, it says calming, and you see lavender, and you see 2 things, linalool and linalool acetate, okay? So those 2 constituents are the reason lavender is calming for sleep, but also for skin, okay? Here's a cool thing too, you've heard me mention this before. Even if you are not open to the essential oils working on you in all the ways of your health, spiritually, emotionally, physically, it's still gonna go to work and help to bring that area of your health back into homeostasis. And you're left wondering why you feel so peaceful when maybe you were just using that lavender for skin, okay? You guys with me? You understand what I'm getting at here as I go through these products? So there's the link to the constituent wheel. Make sure you print this off. This is gonna really help you bridge the gap. If you're wondering, you know, I love my oils, but I don't know how to explain how they're working or why they're working, that's gonna help you. The other thing we wanna link up for you, and again, it'll be in the show notes, is doTERRA's 80-page chemistry book. I really do wish that every time somebody started with doTERRA, that I could have them read through this book. It's a little bit overwhelming, but it's going to help you truly understand and have a deep respect for doTERRA's oils and why they're working and why that brand you bought at the mall isn't. This is why you're going to understand. When you get to understand the chemistry, when you're working with a pure plant, it's a completely different situation. So this year, the products released, there were 15 products released. This was my favorite launch ever. I love every single product I'm going to go through. I'm going to share how I'm using it. So I just want to let you guys know that this collection that I'm talking about, we had early access to it at convention. It's going to be made available on October 2nd as a kit. So you can get everything I'm talking about today on October 2nd as a kit. If you're wanting to just purchase single items, most will be available October 2nd. I think there's 2 or 3 things that are coming out in November/December. So I'll get to those as I go. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about, there's 15 items. The first thing is the kids toolkit. This is the cutest. I love it. I want to start with this. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see we introduced this to the girlies last night. Had a little bit of a situation happen where they started fighting over it. And I actually purchased 2 convention kits, but I'm planning to give one away to my team. So as far as they know, we only have 1 right now. So I'm gonna have to purchase another one. But this is the sweetest kit. This has been created to help our children nurture and care for their bodies and connect to how they're feeling. I could not be happier about this kit. I am so excited. So first I'll just go over the prices really quick. This is a collection of 6 roller bottles, including little flashcards and also little carabiner clips that you can attach to the bottles. The price of this kit is $95 wholesale for the whole kit. It's available as a set like this, October the 1st from the US warehouse. We do have a few things for the Canadians that are going to be available in both warehouses, but not this quite yet. And the single bottles will be available going forward as of November 1st, okay? So we're gonna link up some things as I go here. Jill's gonna show you the product info page for this collection, so you can take a look at what's in it. And again, this is over on Facebook, Instagram if you wanna hop over. We're also gonna post the link to the singles, each bottle, so you can see exactly what's in it, which oils are in it. And then there was a cute video they uploaded to doTERRA's YouTube page you'll wanna watch. But these have been designed for around age 3+, okay? But here's the thing. As early as your child is needing to support their body through something, I would recommend you start using them. They're heavily diluted, they're very safe. And here's the question, mamas, to always ask yourself. What would you have reached for if you did not have a safe, pure plant solution? What would have been your go-to? And you need to make that decision as a mother. Are you more comfortable with this product in a bottle that you bought at the drugstore? Or do you want to consider using what nature's provided first? Okay, that's always the question to lead with. So even though they say age 3+, I would be using these on my baby if there was a situation that called for me to try to, solve something, and I don't want to necessarily reach for something that doesn't feel good as a mother, okay? So this kit has 6 roller bottles. It covers the mind, the body, and the heart. One of the things you'll notice on the bottles is it has a little icon that shows you what that bottle is used for. It's meant to take care of the whole child, okay? Not just the parts and pieces, because everything's connected, as we know, right? So these blends all have a little flashcard that goes with them to basically start the conversation with your child. And my girls read through each of these last night, and then they picked their favorite one. And this kind of helps you, especially if you're new to oils and you want to use these with your children. This will help you understand which oil to use, and it's in a fun way. It's on a little clip, right? You can keep it in the bag there. So I do want to mention the carabiners. One little tip I received from somebody in our community. The silicone carabiner, yes, it's meant to go on the cap, but some of them have been sliding off. So I recommend you actually attach it to the glass portion of the bottle on the bottom. So if they wanted to hang it off their bag, it's not going to slip out. Okay, just a little tip for you. So the first category is the mind. So here we have 2 oils, Thinker and Calmer. Thinker is a blend of vetiver, peppermint, clementine, and rosemary. And each of the oils on the flashcard, you guys, if I go to Thinker, for example, it's called Focus Blend. And it says, when it's time to get creative and focus, roll Thinker onto the back of your neck to support your mind and to enhance your learning. So it tells them exactly where to apply it. Okay. Yes, Tamara, of course, if you want to use these on an infant, then layer a little more coconut oil on their skin before you use them. I do not, somebody asked, do I feel nervous using it on kids? Again, I want to go back to what I just said. What were you going to reach for? And you might be surprised as you get going to learn how well the oils work. And the body will always give you feedback. Okay. So pay attention to, especially when you're using oils for the first time. The second one in the mind category is Calmer. It's for creating restful sleep. Okay, so my girls loved this one last night. It has lavender, Kananga, Buddha wood, and Roman chamomile. So all things calming. The second category is for the body. This includes the Stronger and the Rescuer roller bottle. Okay, so this is going to help with growing. And if, like my daughter yesterday, been playing soccer at school most of the day, her legs were pretty sore. So she rolled which one did she roll? The Rescuer. Because the Stronger would be an alternative to using diluted On Guard. Okay, so again, these are satisfying all of the system needs. So instead of reaching for On Guard, which can be a little bit too spicy of a blend for young children, you can use Stronger for all of the uses that you would be using, okay? That you'd be using On Guard for. And then the third category is Heart, for the heart. So this is for the emotions. Imagine if we teach our kids to be aware of their emotions and to know how they're feeling and why, and to have a tool to help them as they're processing that. We're starting that empowerment and that connection to self at an early age. So one of my favorite things to ask my kids with this kit going forward is, what is your body needing right now? Tuning in rather than shutting down, and using something to support themselves. So there's Steady and there's Brave. I love these names. So Steady is very grounding, okay? Balsam fir, coriander, magnolia. So one of the new blends, new oils is in there. Very calming, very comforting. The second one is Brave, and actually it's my favorite. The smell of it reminds me, I don't know if you guys remember Burt's Bees, that line. I remember purchasing it when I first became a mom, almost 10 years ago. And of course, who knows what was in it, but looked natural. This actually smells a little bit like that to me. So it's bringing back a lot of, very touching memories for me. But Brave is the courage blend. Amorous, wild orange, cinnamon, and osmanthus. And I love it. It's a beautiful smell. I know. Hi, Keely. She said, why do these names make me tear up as a mama? I know. It's so true. Like, right? Like Brave, and reading the card about, in the moment when you need to feel brave. Like, it's so sweet, you guys. Honestly, I can't wait to integrate this in our, morning and evening routine. Okay, so the second product I'll go through is the Beautiful Body Mist real quick. This is available November 1st. This is one of the ones that's not available right away. The coolest thing about this is it's a 360-degree applicator. So you can spray it any way you want. You can do it while you're in handstand, whatever. And I love it. So my tip to you is to spray this on your skin right out of the shower. Ideally, dry skin brush before you go in the shower. I'll just do it. I don't know if you can, where's my camera? Okay. And the cool thing with this product, you guys, is it has the beautiful blend. Many of you love that roller bottle. It has the beautiful blend in it, but it really gives this dewy, just healthy glow to the skin. It's a gorgeous product. You guys are gonna love it. It has hydrating oils like coconut oil, sunflower, and avocado passion fruit. And then the oils that are in our beautiful blend are in it. So it really helps to maintain the skin's natural barrier. I'll show you my arm if I remember, just before the end of the broadcast, so you can see that it's still like beautiful and glowy. Okay, so that's the second product. The third one is the Balanced Deodorant. I don't know if any of you saw my little cameo at convention, but I actually received this as a product tester a couple weeks ago before convention and used it for a couple weeks and then loved it, absolutely love it. And I've been making my own deodorant for years and I've been buying all the brands and they nailed it, you guys. It's amazing. Yeah, Kim says, and it doesn't stain on gray cotton. That's great. It works so well. It does have baking soda in it. So sometimes, but here's the thing, I've used deodorants that have baking soda in it for years. They use the correct amount in this because it's not super gritty, okay? So, you know, you might, if you're used to using Secret or something that is not as healthy for your skin, when you switch to a more natural product, the baking soda is very alkaline, okay? Because your armpits are a very acidic area. And so you might develop a little bit of a rash, but it'll go away. If you want to go more, you know, steer away from baking soda, they are coming out with a baking soda free version as well as a Citrus Bliss version in the coming months. But here's the thing, women. We have about 20 lymph nodes in our armpits, okay? So it's very important that you know what you're putting there. And your lymph nodes, basically, they carry harmful substances out of your body, okay? You also have lymph nodes in your groin and in your neck. So you want to know what you're putting there. The cool thing with this, I mean, a lot of the other ingredients in this, like the baking soda and the coconut oil, are pretty standard in natural deodorants. But here you have doTERRA's oils that are going to supercharge this. And you want to know what you're putting onto your lymph. Trust me, okay? Time to put the Secret away, not to call them out, but time to grow up, Secret. Anyway, I'm also using this on my girls. They're 6 and 9. So they're starting to, you know, go through the growing up stuff. And so I feel so good to have a safe option for them. One tip I'll share, if you find the top of your deodorant is starting to get a little bit gritty after a couple of weeks because of the baking soda, add a drop of either Balance, or I like geranium as well on my deodorant, and it just helps it glide on a little bit better. So there's a little tip for you. So this one's a big hit. Another big hit was the release of, where's my mic? Come on. There we go. Sorry. Hope you can still hear me okay. Another big tip was the release of the On Guard mouthwash. I love the bottle. Okay. It's just like gorgeous apothecary vibe going on here. And this has been a requested product for a couple years now. So the On Guard toothpaste, which I know a lot of you probably use, it launched back in 2011, I think. And it's one of doTERRA's most popular products today. So now the line's expanded to include this alcohol-free, it's a big deal, you guys, alcohol-free, clear, natural mouthwash. It has the On Guard micro-encapsulated so that the oils don't separate. That's also important. A lot of these other natural mouthwashes, you have to shake and shake and shake and shake, and they kind of separate, and it's kind of nasty. This has xylitol and something called Miswak extract, which I'm not super familiar with, but it's known to help with reducing plaque and restoring mouth pH. So they actually did a human trial with this, and 70% of the participants had a healthy oral pH range after just 4 days, okay? So that's one of the key reasons you want to use this, is to restore the pH in your mouth, and you can use it morning and night. With my girls, I've just been adding it to a little cup with a little water. So it's actually really, it kind of has more of like a cinnamon flavor to it. It's not strong clove. No, it has a little more cinnamon heart flavor. Okay, Copaiba soft gels, and the crowd roared, right? So Copaiba, as you may know, the main constituent in Copaiba is BCP, beta-caryophyllene. This closely resembles the interaction that cannabis has in your body with your endocannabinoid system. Copaiba typically has a limit on it, so it's been very exciting to get the soft gel version. This has 60 soft gels per container. It's $32 at wholesale. We'll pop up the link so you guys can read about it. This is sourced from 4 species of Copaiba trees in the Brazilian Amazon. And the chemical composition of this means that it supports numerous body systems. Like, I think literally every body system is supported through the use of this because of the lock and key situation that happens with the beta caryophyllene in this, the main constituent, and your endocannabinoid system in the body. It's a powerful antioxidant. If you want to research, as I'm going into the oils very shortly, as I'm talking about them, so when I say beta caryophyllene, if you want to Google that, you can read the research on your own time. It would be irresponsible of me to talk about what the research is saying because I also sell doTERRA, okay? So you're gonna need to do that on your own time. But what you wanna do is look up the specific constituents that I'm talking about so that you can basically put 2 and 2 together, okay? That's what you're gonna need to do. But the crowd was very excited about this. Neuroprotective. It does a lot of work with inflammation in the body. I personally don't take Copaiba every single day because I just don't have the need. But when I want to have a good deep sleep, I'm planning to take 1 to 2 of these. I typically, before I do public speaking, for example, I will usually take a drop of Copaiba under my tongue and just press it, press my tongue up to the roof of my mouth. This is one that I can now leverage instead of having to just use the oil internally. And this is just a nice delivery system, 60 soft gels per container. Okay, so now we're gonna roll through the 5 oils. We're gonna go till about 10 after 3, you guys. So hopefully you're good. Instagram, we're gonna lose you once I hit an hour. So if you wanna hop over to Facebook, all the action will continue there. Okay, so 5 new oils. Magnolia Touch. Let's talk about this one. First of all, beautiful bottle, an exquisite addition to the floral oils. I actually have a little cement roller bottle container that a friend of mine gave me that I keep my floral oils in now because I use them every single day. I alternate different ones on my skin. So this is $28 at wholesale. It would have been a lot more if doTERRA didn't make it available this way. But part of the reason they did is because you'll mostly use this for topical use. So it's nice that it's already diluted as a touch roller bottle. This can take over 5,000 magnolia blossoms to create a 15 ml straight up magnolia. So that's why it's available this way. It's from China. It has about 70% linalool, okay? So linalool is what you want to research if you want to understand why this oil is working so well. This has 70% more, it has 70% linalool, which is about twice as much as lavender. Okay, so when we think about all the things we know of lavender, great for the skin, great for calming, right? That's what linalool is known for when you look on that chart. This will be one to sub in. And here's what I want to mention. When you have oils that have similar constituents like lavender and magnolia, you want to alternate them because the body will respond a little bit differently to a constituent in a different oil because it has a higher range or a different range, okay? So it's really good to have alternatives to what you might be loving and using already. So read up about that monoterpene. It's in a lot of flower and spice oils. Emotionally, very calming. So a lot of you will use it as your perfume. It's just so easy to apply because of this method. I plan to use it a couple times a week under my eyes and on my face. So again, I'm going to alternate it with a lot of the other floral oils. Okay, next one is pink pepper. I love the aroma of this. Actually, I love the aroma of all of them except for the turmeric, right? So I love it. It's really deep and woody and spicy and just, it smells a little bit like black pepper with more depth, I find. Black pepper has more of a faint aroma to it. So the pink pepper, this was called the superhero oil when Emily presented it. We're gonna post up the product info page for you guys. It's sourced from the berries of the pink peppercorn. It's wild harvested from 2 different countries, Kenya and Peru. Excuse me one sec. So this is actually indigenous to Peru, But the story goes, British colonists brought the trees with them to Kenya. So this has actually created an opportunity to serve the economy in both of those areas, okay? So you're gonna wanna watch the sourcing video that we're posting right now, because in that video, you're gonna meet Veronica. We were introduced to her through video at convention. She's a mother of 5, and she is now harvesting pink peppercorn. And because of this, it's changing the economy in her community. She shared something that I loved. I don't know how many of you wrote this quote down. She said that I love to work because when I stay idle and if I gossip, my children will go without food in their stomach. I was like, yes, truth bomb, right? Thank you, Veronica. Oh my gosh, it's so true. How many of us find ourselves with people that seem to just spend all their time in the negative, and literally they're basically, you know, taking away from their children if they have children or their family because they're so stuck in the negative all the time. So anyway, really sweet video, very touching. All of the sourcing videos doTERRA creates, just beautiful. So pink pepper, what you're going to want to research in this one, it's high in limonene. Limonene, we talk about quite a bit on here. And also something called alpha phellandrine. Okay, so in contrast, blue tansy has a little over 5% of alpha phellandrine. Pink pepper has 15 to 30%. Okay, so we lost Instagram. Let me just share this over here real quick and we'll keep on going. The research behind this constituent is shown scientifically to protect and nurture cells. Okay, so it is a cell guardian in all ways. So when you have cells that are going through mitosis, they're dividing, this is a protector of that, similar to what you've experienced before with DDR prime, right? So this is kind of an alternate, or you can use along with DDR prime. So the combination of the constituents in this oil, in pink pepper, the limonene and the alpha phellandrine, they're gonna work with your body to soothe and relax your nervous system. The limonene is going to help support healthy blood sugar and cholesterol levels. And again, I would encourage you to spend time researching limonene and alpha phellandrine. You're gonna discover why this is a superhero oil. It's literally good for every inch of the body. The most benefit they shared comes from internal use, okay? It really does go to work to support almost every system, but specifically for cell protection. And one of the things I realized this last week, all of the oils for the most part that they launched this year were really all about keeping cell integrity. I want you to think about that when we're talking about these oils and what that means, okay? So my personal integration with this oil, I'm gonna share that as I go. 2 drops on a dry skin brush. I'm gonna use it in the mornings to brush my skin. You can go to YouTube and find one of my very first, I know the light's kind of blinding, right? You can find one of my very first dry skin brush, or very first videos of all time was on dry skin brushing. I'm gonna add 1 to 2 drops of this right on top of the dry skin brush to use before I'm brushing my skin. I'm also going to make a roller bottle of this with, so 10 drops Aroma Touch blend and 10 drops of pink pepper in coconut oil. I'm gonna bring that to my weekly massages. So if you like to go for massage, that'd be a great one to ask your therapist to apply, and you can put it in a roller bottle, have it diluted, and then they can just do a couple of strikes up the spine through the back. It also is great diffused with citrus or floral oils. So one to try here, if you want to write this down, is 2 drops pink pepper, 2 drops clary sage, and 2 drops wild orange. It's a beautiful blend. So I'm going to give you some diffusing recipes today too. Okay, the next oil is green mandarin. Oh shoot, I don't even have it up here. I just had it down in the kitchen because I added a drop to my water. Okay, so we're gonna put up some links with the sourcing video. Green mandarin is sourced from Brazil. We heard from Enzo, who's a 4th generation citrus producer in Brazil. His family has been growing green mandarin and harvesting it since 1873. So quality is super important to them because like this is their lineage, right? This is what they do. So this oil actually has 3 pretty interesting qualities. Being a citrus oil, one of the most unusual things about it is it does not have furocomerins. I always have trouble with that word. It's even harder to spell out. Furocomerins. That is what typically will cause a citrus essential oil to make you sensitive to the sun. Almost every citrus essential oil that we have does make you sensitive to the sun. So if you were to put it on topically and then go out and lay in the sun for a couple hours, your skin is going to burn fast. Now, what they have found with green mandarin is that it does not have these furocumarins. So that means that it is not showing to be an issue with photosensitivity with the sun, okay? Now, if you want to be, extra careful, then you might dilute it a little bit, or you might, maybe you don't go out this. I mean, I don't tend to put citrus oils on before I go out in the sun, but it's just something to be aware of, that it doesn't seem to be causing the same situation as a lot of the other citrus oils do. It has a beautiful aroma. It is my favorite citrus oil now. My favorite used to be tangerine. It's still up there, but I love the aroma of this. This is going to sound super weird, you guys, but it actually reminds me of those smelly erasers that we had when we were like kids. I don't know why it smells like that to me. Let me know if it does for you as well. But I love the aroma of it. It's very high in limonene. So again, you're going to want to research limonene, and it's linked to helping support healthy digestion, healthy glucose metabolism, healthy cholesterol levels. I mean, I'm talking a myriad of benefits, you guys. What I personally do, I've talked about this many times on this show before. I've been internalizing doTERRA citrus oils now for 5 years. And what I do is I drink 4 liters a day of water, and I add 2 drops of a citrus oil to each of those liters of water. So now I'm going to substitute in green mandarin, my favorites. I alternate throughout the day, would be now the green mandarin, and then tangerine and grapefruit. Those are like my top 3. And lemon, obviously, is a strong winner. So that's a good way to have that limonene coming in and you're going to find a ton of research on that, you guys. So have fun with that. We'll link up a doTERRA article on Spotlight on limonene right now for you, if you want to see some of that research. Diffusing. So I mentioned, adding it to your water is brilliant. It diffuses beautifully. So I did a couple of blends last night, a diffuser in each room, and green mandarin with sandalwood is my favorite. Okay, so I did equal parts in our bedroom, and then I went in one of the girls' rooms and I did green mandarin and lime and arbor vitae. You guys are gonna love that one. What I typically do with arbor vitae is only 1 drop and then 2 drops of the other 2. So 2 drops green mandarin, 2 drops lime, 1 drop arbor vitae, because arbor vitae is pretty intense, right? Then the last one to try is green mandarin and serenity. Those together are beautiful. And Ashley says she gets the eraser smell as well. Okay, cool. I'm not weird. I mean, yeah, I guess I kind of am sometimes, but that's what makes us all special. Okay, ready for the last 2 powerhouse oils? Are you guys with me? So yeah, like I said, we'll probably go to about 1/4 after, okay? Okay, so the next one, personal fave, yarrow palm nutritive blend. This is the first time that doTERRA has created a blend like this. Now, in the convention kits, it's a 15 ml bottle like this. When it is released in December, okay, I forgot to tell you, all of the other oils I talked about just now, they are coming out in October. This one, the yarrow palm, is not going to be ready till December because it has a whole different delivery system. It's actually going to have a dropper top on it because it's meant for internal use, and it's going to be 30 mils, so double the size of this. Okay, I want to talk about this one with you. It's my personal favorite because I'm kind of obsessed with glowing skin. And, a lot of my programs, I teach people how to have that inside out glow. And this, I could not be more in love with this oil, both internally and topically. It's going to help bring out that glow in you. Okay, so let me go through. This oil, you guys, because of all that it does and the rarity of it, it's $95 at wholesale. But that's going to be for a 30 ml bottle. Okay, so if it was just as the 15 ml, it'd be about 50 at wholesale. So this is a true inside out approach to aging and vitality and wellness. Okay, in short form, this is your inside out glow oil. You guys are going to love it. You're going to love it. Okay, so where do I start with this? So we'll talk about the constituents in a moment, but this has the ability to inhibit the enzymes that break down your skin elasticity, and collagen. How many of you know what collagen is or why, you know, it matters as you age? It's basically like your skin plumpness. It's kind of your youthfulness. So I'm going to share with you how I'm using this on my face in a moment. I think you'll love what I'm doing with it. But this is the bluest oil in the land, you guys. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration on my hand, close up in the camera. Okay, do you see how blue that is? Isn't that pretty? Okay, so that blue color is because of something called chemazoline. Where have we heard of that before? How many of you guys, do you guys know what other, look at this. What other oil do we have that has chemazoline in it? Gotta mirror myself here, there we go. Do you see how glowy and dewy this oil is? That's because of the pomegranate seed oil as well in it, okay? So, this specific oil is getting a lot of attention. It's been asked for years, as well as the last one I'm going to go through with you, but it's because of the constituents in it. Yeah, you guys got it right, blue tansy. So blue tansy has a little bit less of the chemazoline in it, okay? So this is a nice deep blue color, but again, it has the pomegranate oil in it, which helps dilute this a little bit. Look at my skin right now. Can you guys, I don't even know if the camera's picking it up, but it's like beautiful. Gluey, doughy. No, there we go. Okay, so here's what you want to research. Punicic acid, that is contributed from the pomegranate oil. Beta caryophyllene, which is also found in Copaiba. We've talked about that already today. And then the chemazoline. So we're going to put up a link where you can learn more about the beta caryophyllene, often called BCP. BCP has the ability, you guys, to bind with the CB2 receptors. So what this means is that along with its cellular and skin health, because it's able to activate the CB2 receptors, it may also support a healthy nervous system, immune function. I mean, all the things we love about Copaiba. Internally, this is going to have that same effect without the psychoactive side effects that something like THC would have, which interacts with the CB1 receptor. I know it's a lot of science talk, but lock and key, okay? It has the ability to lock and key with the endocannabinoid system, which supports a lot of body systems. This oil has a higher antioxidant factor than both vitamin C and vitamin E, okay? Tons of benefits, you guys. I'm not going to go through all the ways because you can go and read the product info page to see all of those things. I wish you could scratch and sniff as well. You'll get these in October, I'm sure. The pomegranate seed oil in this is super cool as well. I mentioned that it's what contributes the punicic acid. It's a rare form of something called CLA, which is conjugated linoleic acid. This is going to make the vegans in the house rejoice because typically this is only available in meat and dairy. It's an omega-5, it's rare, and it's used in a variety of metabolic processes, you guys. So it's very beneficial to the body. Here's how this oil is suggested to be used. 1 to 2 drops internally per day, either under the tongue or in a capsule, is going to help with metabolic support. Personally, I'm going to take you on my daily routine in a minute. I'm planning to use this a drop under my tongue at night, okay? Beautiful glowing skin is what you're going to love most about this one. So here's what I'm doing with it. How many of you have heard of those micro rollers? What they're actually doing is they have little pins in them. You roll them gently over your skin and they prick the skin ever so, small, ever so gently. And through that, it's encouraging the body to release and produce more collagen, which helps to plump up your skin. It helps with aging. It helps with any skin issues you're having, really. So what I'm planning to do is 2 to 3 times a week, I'm planning to roll my skin. And you can actually, if you want, you can head over. You can get this on Amazon, the very one that I use. I have it in the shop, I think the Healthy Skin shop of my website. It'll link to Amazon, the very one that I use. And I'm planning to roll it on my skin and then apply the Yarrow Palm, 1 or 2 drops in some face oil or moisturizer and work that over my skin. Because that combination, you guys, is going to help produce collagen in the skin, which is going to keep your skin looking really healthy and glowy. So I'm planning to leave this one for sure on my bathroom counter because I'm going to be using it a drop under my tongue at night and then on my face. Okay, last oil to go through is turmeric. this exploded in the arena. This is like, if you haven't been asking for turmeric essential oil, you're going to be thinking, you know, was I hiding under a rock when you start to read about all of the ways you can use turmeric essential oil? Now, here's the thing. You've heard of turmeric before, I'm sure, right? It's a spice that makes curries and mustards yellow. It's very yellow. Some of you might even have a stain on your carpet somewhere from cooking with it. You might have even seen it as a supplement before. The turmeric powder that's in capsules comes from the root. It's dried and ground. However, maybe you haven't ever thought of turmeric essential oil. This is going to be the most powerful way to incorporate turmeric into your life, into your body. It has so many benefits. And doTERRA has been working on the sourcing for this oil. Hold on one sec. The sun is like, there we go. That's a little better. Maybe, I don't know. doTERRA has been working on the sourcing of this oil now for a couple of years now. They needed to find a source that could be done sustainably, and they were looking for one that had the highest amount of something called termerones, okay? Termerones. This is sourced from India and Nepal, okay? How do I even go through this in a couple of minutes? I have a lot in my notes here. It's been used in Chinese and Indian traditions for over 4,000 years, right? So it has a lot of interest, a lot of research happening with it. Modern science has shown turmeric to have a high concentration. So we know the constituents in this are alpha, termerone, and termerone. So the amount of termerones in this make this like the golden, you know, like turmeric lattes, right? The golden latte. This is the gold standard of turmeric, right? This is how you want to be using it in your body because it has a high amount of termerones. These are sesquiterpenes that have antiseptic and anti-inflammatory properties. So they help to bring homeostasis again to a lot of the body's systems. Yeah, a lot of you are commenting that now you can just use the turmeric oil, which is really exciting, right? Because the powder can be kind of messy to deal with. And like I said, it's so bright orange that it can stain. So termerones readily absorb. They easily act on cell membranes. They cross membranes and planes to be active in the body. Natural tissue support, increased antioxidant capacity. They sustain cardiovascular health. Hepatoprotective, meaning it protects the liver. There's a lot of research I was reading about that. So you want to find your own way to have 1 to 2 drops a day. That's, you know, when you're thinking of all the ways you could integrate this, 1 to 2 drops a day is going to be very powerful. One of the reasons that there's so much interest in the termerones in this is that they help with the absorption of something called curcumin. Curcumin, which is why anybody has ever looked at turmeric powder. Curcumin is also found in our doTERRA, the lifelong vitality supplements. It's in the alpha CRS, and it's also in the deep blue polyphenols. And those are 2 things that I personally take daily. The termerones in this help the curcumin that might be in your diet to absorb, and that's just a superpower antioxidant. If you were to go over to PubMed, you guys, you're going to find over 12,000 studies on curcumin alone. Like, there's a lot of interest, right? So again, if you're doing your research, you're going to look up alpha termerone and termerone. You're going to find research on those. You can read between the lines. It smells terrible. I will tell you that right now. This is not an oil I will be diffusing. But it is best used topically and internally anyway, okay? Because it's a powerhouse. So let's go through a few uses. This oil you can easily mix in to curries, to eggs, to soups. In fact, one of the girls on my team said she made it last night, a nice big butternut squash soup with turmeric and ginger essential oil from doTERRA. So it's a great way to flavor. It tastes really good, actually. It smells, I can't get over the smell. It's like really, really earthy. And, but last night I made this nice latte recipe I'm going to share with you in a moment. And it tasted just like as if I had used a turmeric powder. So let's go through some uses. This is more concentrated, obviously, than the powdered form. So it mixes nice and easy into a lot of your recipes. I recommend that you add this post cooking. Okay, so if you're making a big soup, don't add it in while the soup is cooking, because again, like, we don't know totally what the high temperatures are doing to the constituents in the oil. So it's probably best, just as you're taking something off the stove, to add it, to mix it in that way. And probably only 1, maybe 2 drops, right? In a nice big, a lot of you are sharing your recipes. And you're like, if you're doing Indian cooking, Laura made golden milk with it last night. Amy says, yes, it's really earthy. Totally. Jen says it's going to sit next to her oregano. Well, you might use it more than oregano, right? Oregano, I find I'm pulling out only when I really need it. Whereas turmeric will be an oil you'll want to find a way to use 1 to 2 drops a day because it's such a powerhouse. So let's go through some uses. So for the skin, it's a rich antiseptic. It's concentrated in antioxidants. So it's really great at treating all kinds of, skin concerns. So you might actually just take a drop or 2 in your hand and add it to your fractionated coconut oil and massage that into any skin issues you're having. Can help with elasticity. Here's a fun recipe for you if you want to make up a mask with it. You may have seen turmeric masks before online. Here's a nice easy one. So just take 1 drop of your turmeric oil, mix it into, maybe about a tablespoon of coconut oil, maybe 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, depending on how much you're needing, and 1 tablespoon of honey, and then get a mixer. You could even actually blend that with your mixer, and it'll kind of whip up a little bit, and that's a beautiful face mask, okay? So it's very soothing to the skin. You'll also want to experiment with this for anytime you're feeling tense in certain areas. It works quite quickly topically. Even better if you want to apply a little bit of heat to it. So if you have, if you're carrying a lot of tension in your neck, you might want to make a little massage oil up and then apply a little heat pack over it. So that's a good use. You can use turmeric if you're starting to feel like you're coming down with something. So making a nice steam inhalation would be smart. You can add 3 to 4 drops of turmeric to a bowl of hot water. Place a towel over your head and then just breathe that in. Inhale those potent vapors for about 5 or 10 minutes. Or you could even do a tent. You could add 1 to 2 drops diluted on your chest and then pull your, sorry, I always get microphone hair wrong. Pull your shirt over your head and just breathe that in for 5 or 10 minutes. It's going to help soothe your airways and nasal passages, just open everything up. The last thing I wanted to share with you is what I'm going to do a blog post on some of these recipes just so they're easy to share out. The turmeric glow latte. So I made this last night. It was really delicious. Now, I don't eat a lot of sugar. So if you're used to sugar, you're probably going to need to add about a teaspoon of honey or maple syrup to this recipe initially. The goal would be to back off away from that sugar eventually. This is a great latte to make at night before you sleep because it's going to give you some protein and some fats, and then the turmeric is warming, right? So it can feel really comforting before sleep. So here's the recipe. If you want to write this down, you're going to start off with 1 cup of some sort of nut milk, almond milk, coconut milk, hemp milk, whatever. Let's not use dairy. It's going to create mucus. So then you're going to blend, you're going to heat that up. I have a little milk heater thing that I bought, but you can obviously heat that on the stove. Then you're going to put that in the blender with 1 tablespoon of collagen. Collagen's going to, it's very good for your gut, very good for your stomach lining, and just is going to give you that nice little pickup of protein. I recommend you also add half a teaspoon of vanilla. And then here's the fun part. You're going to, if this is a drink that you want to make quite often, that sun is really blinding right now. Sorry, guys. Here we go. I don't know. Not helping. What you're going to want to do is make up a little solution of MCT oil with your essential oils. So here's what I recommend. Just get a glass mason jar. I made this up last night with 3 tablespoons of MCT oil. That's what you're seeing here. But the recipe itself is going to use 1 tablespoon of MCT oil or coconut oil, okay? You can store it in a jar, and what you're going to add to it is, the reason I did this in a ratio of 3 is because you want a little bit less of the other essential oils. But if you were going to make this up like I did, 3 tablespoons of MCT oil or coconut oil, 3 drops of your turmeric oil, and then 1 drop each of cinnamon and ginger, and it's beautiful. Okay, so again, I'll do a blog that will have that recipe in it so you have it. And any other recipes I mentioned tonight, I'll go through, I'll put in a blog post just to wrap this up. So here's where I'll just end this part off, and I'm going to share my quick daily routine with these oils. We're going on long today, you guys. So the full convention kits, like I said, will be available with all of these products October 1st. They're not going to be the same price likely as what you received if you went to convention. but they'll be available to order October the 2nd, October 1st, they're releasing the pricing and the info. October 2nd, it'll be ready for purchase. The single products, a lot of them are available October the 2nd in the US warehouse. Here are the ones available in the Canadian warehouse, you guys. Green Mandarin, Magnolia Touch, Pink Pepper, and Turmeric. If you're in Canada, I'd recommend you just order the kit from the US because it's, oftentimes it works to a very similar price. If you want to open up your wholesale customer account this month, that would be really smart because a lot of the most popular starter kits are 20% off from the US warehouse just this month. So we have another 4 days or so till end of September. So the reason you might want to do this is that's going to give you your starter collection of oils, but all of the kits also include a full year of purchasing doTERRA at 25% off whenever you want to shop. So if you take advantage of that promo this month and choose your starter kit, whatever one you want to start with, then next month when all these products become available, you're going to be able to purchase them at wholesale, like the 6 or 7 million in doTERRA do. You'll get the same pricing that I do. So connect with the person that invited you here. If that person's me, I'd love to welcome you. I'd love to welcome you to our oil community. We pump a lot of education in there, and it's just a beautiful journey to begin. So I'll put the link right now in the show notes of where you can get started. You can choose your kit this month, and then you can purchase any of these products at 25% off next month. And the best part of this is doTERRA now has a solution for almost everything in a much more natural way. So for example, the deodorant, the mouthwash that I talked about today, whether we're talking about supplements or skincare or hair care, and then of course the purest oils in the world, you can purchase them whenever you want at 25% off. You could even opt into the rewards program. So this, whatever you want is showing up on your doorstep every month. That's called the loyalty rewards program. You can actually set that up to begin the month after you choose your kit. So a lot of people do it that way. I'm a big fan of having things automated so I don't have to go out to the store and get all the things. And I love knowing where my money is going. That's a big deal for me. And I love that doTERRA now has like literally almost every single product that I used to go and buy at the drugstore. And I mean, all these little health companies now are getting bought out by these big conglomerates, and it's not good, you guys. So I love that with doTERRA. I don't have to think about a lot of these things, and they work. They're beautiful products. So we put up the link for you guys. If you're new here, if you're looking to get started with doTERRA, I'd love to welcome you. And like I said, connect back with the person that invited you here to this show if it wasn't me, okay? Okay, I want to finish off by sharing in a nutshell my new routine integrating these products. Remember, your body loves to work with new constituents. So even if you have a routine you love, I'd encourage you to look at how some of these new oils could actually create a different result. How many of you have just changed your shampoo and your hair responded differently, right? Because the body works with new things differently. So here's my morning routine real quick. In the morning, I wake up, I tongue scrape, I brush with Guard Toothpaste, and now I use the new mouth rinse for like 30 to 60 seconds after. Then I use my Barrage cleanser on my face. I'm planning to use the Yarrow Palm Oil in my moisturizer on my skin, and I'm going to alternate that with geranium and frankincense. Those are two other ones that I love to use in my moisturizer. I'm also planning to alternate the Magnolia Touch under my eyes, on my neck, any extra areas that are showing some aging. I will alternate this with Rose, with Jasmine, and with Immortelle. So again, I keep those kind of all together, and I just rotate them, a different one each day. I also, in the morning, I dry skin brush really quickly. I take a couple minutes. I'm going to put that pink pepper on the dry skin brush, and I'm going to brush my body in the direction of my heart before applying and giving myself a nice body oil massage. I love to use our metabolic blend with our doTERRA natural body cream, or I'll use coconut oil. Then in my water, first thing in the morning, I drink 20 ounces of water. My new favorite is green mandarin. So I would add 2 drops of green mandarin to one that's this size. And throughout the day, I drink about 4 liters, and I add 1 to 2 drops of citrus oil. So I alternate my green mandarin with tangerine, lemon, or grapefruit. All of those have high limonene. Again, research the constituents I talked about today. Those are why these oils are so powerful in your body. Then I do my supercharged brew, coffee, bulletproof, whatever you want to call it. What I personally do, you guys, I do this until 1 o'clock. I don't eat like food in the morning, I do my fatty brew, which is 3 cups of organic / decaf coffee. I do a mix, so I'm not getting a lot of caffeine that way. I will sometimes alternate that with chaga tea. So again, I mix even that up, but I add 2 tablespoons of MCT oil, 1 tablespoon of pastured butter or ghee, and I'm planning every morning now to add 1 drop of turmeric and 1 drop of cinnamon. Okay, and sometimes I add cacao or maca depending on what time of the month it is. Midday, I work out. I'll have my water with limonene, citrus oil in it. I shower. I'm going to apply that beautiful body spray to my skin as I'm getting out of the shower. And then the Balance deodorant, my new favorite. I love it. And like I mentioned, you can apply a drop of Balance to it or geranium if you want that little extra zhuzh. Or if the deodorant's starting to get a little bit gritty, that'll help it glide. At nighttime, diffusing, like I mentioned, the green mandarin with sandalwood or green mandarin with serenity. That'd be a new nighttime blend to try. I also love to do like a 10-minute cleanup of my house. So I'm going to be experimenting with the green mandarin in my all-purpose cleaner. Here's a great recipe. Get in the On Guard cleaning concentrate. If you don't have it, it's so awesome. It makes like 12 all-purpose cleaners. So you'd add to a glass bottle 2 tablespoons of On Guard cleaning concentrate, 10 drops each of green mandarin, and either spearmint or basil. Those are 2 that I've been playing with right now. Love it. And then on my face, like I mentioned at night, I'm going to use the micro roller 2 to 3 times a week, followed by a drop of the yarrow palm in a face oil moisturizer, and then 1 drop of this under my tongue. Okay, so this is going to be a favorite. I know it's going to be a favorite of mine. And then if I'm needing a good deep sleep, I would take 1 to 2 of the Copaiba soft gels. Now the kids kit is the last one I'll mention real quick. We're going to use this wherever we go. If we're traveling, it's coming with us. And I plan to integrate this into our morning and evening routine. And I'm going to simply ask them, is there anything your body's needing right now? You know, and really, I really want to start involving them in that conversation. They were very excited. And they loved the aroma of those roller bottles. I think doTERRA nailed it when it comes to what we're looking for them to do. Okay, so last thing I want to mention, as I'm talking about daily use, and you know, when you're thinking about using the oils, you want to consider your own personal daily usage. Now, doTERRA has a chart. We're going to link up for you here, the safe upper limit of using oils internally and topically. Now, for internal oils, the maximum you'd want to integrate per day would be 24 drops. Personally, I take about 14 drops daily. I do my Lifelong Vitality, which has 2 drops of oil in the omega-3 component. I do DDR Prime every single day. That soft gel has 4 drops of oil. In my water, as I mentioned, throughout the day, I drink about 4 liters a day, so I'm taking about 4 to 6 drops of a high limonene oil in my water. The yarrow palm, I'm taking every night, 1 drop. Turmeric every day, 1 drop in the morning. So my total intake is about 14 drops. So if I started to feel under the weather, I still have about 10 drops that would take me to that needle of what they have found in their research for the body's way of metabolizing a safe upper limit, okay? So we've linked that for you. I'd like you to take a look at that because that's a question I get all the time. Okay, so I want to wrap up. One other link I wanted to share with you that we had in the show notes was planning for next year. Some of you that weren't there this year, you might already be thinking about how you can go next year. I'm going to link up for you the travel guide that I created for my team. So I'm going to give you a copy of it. It gives you everything you need to know about convention. I would start saving now. It is, I mean, the tickets themselves, I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this publicly, but I think until October 6th, they're available at a reduced rate of $125. That price was meant to be given to those that attended live, but I don't think they can really track that, right? So typically they're $169. After that, they go on sale April 2nd. And this event, I mean, the value, oh my gosh. We went to Taylor Swift, and I mean, I love Taylor Swift, but the tickets were $400 each. And I mean, what you get through this event, and I've been to like so many health events in my lifetime, you guys, and the information and education that you receive, this event, you're going to want to be there. So we're going to link up for you your guide for next year. And I want to wrap up just by thanking our owners, the visionaries the dreamers in doTERRA. It's incredible to see what's happened. And especially I want to thank Emily Wright. From one firecracker woman to another, you know, I'm great, just so grateful and so inspired by women like Emily Wright, for the tight grip that she has held to her vision of what is possible, you guys, and for just not only for herself, but for all women. You know, she has blazed a trail when the most comfortable thing to do would have been to do what she was told. You know, and I thank her so deeply for dreaming big as a mother, for dreaming big as the founder of doTERRA, and for going right for Hugh Jackman, you guys, when the easy thing would have been to have an imitator, right? She through her own courage, has been much of the reason that doTERRA is where it is today and is changing the world, especially for women globally. And it starts with one person, you know, and I want you to consider how you might be that one person to the people in your life, you know? So I guess your homework for today, I like to wrap this up with a little assignment. If you were at convention, there was something that you received that was meant for you. If you're listening to this recap today, there was something that you received that was meant for you. And I want you to sit with it, and I want you to really think about what it would look like to take action on that thing, and to park everything else that you could do and focus on the one thing you know you need to do, because it's what has visited you today, or maybe last week you just kept hearing that one message over and over and over again. It is your next move, you guys. It is what you're meant to do. So take action on it. Maybe you're somebody who's been, you know, watching what doTERRA is doing. You've been watching women like me using the oils for a couple of years now and sharing them and seeing us rise in our own life. And you know that now is your time. Whether you reach out to me to get started or whoever invited you, you guys, do it. Just do it. I promise you, it's going to be the catalyst that's going to change so many things in your life. And I hope that I did justice to just sharing, you know, everything that we experienced last week. Those post-convention tours that are happening, try to make it out to one. I mean, they're going to be awesome. They're 2 hours. They're free. You might win some free product. We've linked that up for you. And again, you'll find everything in the show notes. The next time we might meet in person will be at Leadership Retreat in March. There's 2 events, you guys, in doTERRA. They do 2 locations because the leadership at doTERRA is growing so big. And Rachel Hollis, Miss Rachel Hollis, was announced as the keynote speaker for both of those leadership retreats. So that's going to be really fun. I know a lot of you know her and follow her, and we all love her. So anyway, hope to see you guys. If you're out in Edmonton, I'll see you there end of October. We'll see you at the London one. I will not be here next week for the live broadcast because I'm traveling, okay? So I will be back on October the 10th for our next, it'll be a full live Q&A episode, taking questions that were submitted over the past few weeks. So anyway, this was fun. I hope that I covered it, at least what you needed to hear today. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Please message whoever shared this broadcast with you guys. And thank you for sharing this with your team. And thank you to the 300 of you that have hung out here for like an hour and 30 minutes. I need to go meditate, have some water. I might even make myself one of those turmeric lattes because I need to just like Copaiba and turmeric. Let's go. Okay. Love you guys. We'll see you back in 2 weeks. Okay.